Shit.
All right, are we ready?
Yes.
Maya? Okay.
I'm here.
In 5. Okay. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Look at you. You made it to another episode of We Did That Shit podcast, where we talk about who did some shit, what we learned from shit, and how we got through some shit.
I'm Maya.
And I'm Bibbi. Podcast family, we appreciate you. And we hope your week was the shit. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. If you enjoy our company, please subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform. We're on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at We Did That Shit.
Hey. I had to be more upbeat. I realized I'm like, hey.
Right. What's up, Maya?
What's going on with you?
Hey, Maya. I was just thinking about him the other day.
I can't wait till we go to New Orleans.
Woo, it's getting closer.
Mm-hmm.
So,
ain't got nothing going on.
Nothing. How was your
Ain't
week?
got no tickets.
Oh, okay. We got a place to live, though. Got a place.
Ain't got no plane.
I know. Let me tell you something. In my plane ticket, my flight, because July 4th is on the Thursday, I gotta go past New Orleans.
Right.
To New Orleans.
Right.
Because my flight is sold out. The flight that I usually take going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't know.
Mine too.
I'll get all that stuff taken care of on a weekend, because I'm telling you, this week at work, I feel like I worked 8 12s straight.
You got you really worked for your pay today? I mean, this week?
First of all, my pay, they pay, and everybody pay. I was like, yeah, no. But you know what? Help somebody, And that's what, at the end of the day, that's what it's about for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was not just him, like this one particular person, but it was just a lot going on, like all of these things going on, and for whatever reason, people. I think this is like, we talk about what we learned from shit and how we got through some shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you some benefits of being raised in the hood, being a latchkey kid, growing up with single parent or whatever. You learn how to figure some shit out.
You
and
do.
Quick.
and thoroughly.
Right. I mean, your problem solving skills be on 10. Because, if you got to get home from where you was and you knew you shouldn't have been there, no way, and you got to get this stuff, your logic starts to kick in, that problem solving is it. So a lot of times people come to me for those things. They're like, oh, but I know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
But being nice, but I'm working on it. Then I take on something else. But this week it was just like everybody, even if I helped or whatever, everybody pitched in. Like we all worked.
Oh, y'all was a real team this week.
The whole team worked like this, and we still got another day to go. Like everybody, when we left today, everybody was just looking at each other like, I hope we can make it tomorrow.
Right. See you tomorrow. Hopefully.
Yeah. But people are being helped, and, it was progress. So to me, that's always good. But I really, I feel a shift. I really feel a shift. Like, come in here, kick ass, because it's almost time to go. Like, I think that the opportunities are going to start coming really soon. But I'm going to wait on the Lord. I'm not seeking real hard. I mean, I'm a little, maybe glancing,
right,
perusing, I'm not really seeking hard. I don't want to go before God. I'm very spiritual in those things. Sometimes there's a lesson to be learned. Lord, if it is, please show me so I can do my time and go.
But do my time. That's a shame when your job got to start sounding like you in the pen. I need to do my time and go. I'm counting down the days, crossing out the days on the calendar.
What they they say? 3 more wake ups.
Mm-hmm. But as they say in the pen, only 2 days count. It's the day you walk in and the day you walk out. So that's what you got to think about.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's a progress. That's always good. You can help somebody. But I'm telling you, we work like dogs this week.
Mm.
So how was your week?
I wasn't working like a dog at all.
Thanks.
When I hear your stories about work, I just be like, what? I remember that life. But then somebody rescued me and I knew there was a God. Yes. So I don't have that going on. But speaking of teams, a funny thing happened to me at work. And I never have no work stories like that. But a funny thing happened at work. So, one of the people on my team I don't like.
Right.
I'm not fond of her,
At all.
but she got sick. And then she left for a time. And then when she came back, she was just like a totally different person. And I think that because I never knew like what she was sick from or anything. I just knew that she was leaving for a time and she had to be out, and that was that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she came back, it was like she had a totally different way of being.
Well,
so she was
just unto death.
No, she wasn't sick unto death, but it turned out that it was serious. It was like a serious.
It must have been, because that's what changes people.
Yeah, and so I thought that she was just going out like on some, I don't know, random.
Right.
I gotta have a procedure.
Clearly, you didn't care at all, because I didn't even know she was out. But go ahead.
Right. So because it was so peaceful while she was out, I just failed to mention it.
I feel that.
And so, and she's not even like one of your worst coworkers,
right.
But anyway, when she came back, she just had a totally different attitude, and so I like her a little bit more now. Mm-hmm. But it's always something that she does that makes me be like, that's why I ain't like your ass, But the other day, I'm in my office, she sits like out in a cubicle, and I can see her cube like from where I'm sitting at. And somebody else, now we work for the government, so it's like 4 of us, and then my boss, that makes 5, and that's it. So somebody was walking by from the company, and they were like walking up on her desk, and I felt real protective, like, because she wasn't at her desk. She had went to lunch. And I'm like, what the hell are they doing? Like, why are they walking up on her desk? And so I'm like, me and my other coworker he was sitting in my office, and we were talking, like, can we help you? Did you need something from her desk? They're like, oh, no, I didn't know that she went to the college that she went to, because her degree was like on the wall. And they were like so shocked, like, you know how they do, like, oh, y'all went to college?
Right. Oh, you can read.
Yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm. So it was one of them type of moments, but it just made me realize when you said something like, oh, the team, we all pitched in, it made me realize, like, no matter how much I don't like you, if you on my team,
it's us.
I'm a ride with you.
Right.
It really, I was laughing to myself, and then me and my coworker, who's my friend, we was laughing because he was like,
look at
just
you.
wait till you think you ain't like her. I said, it ain't got nothing to do with not liking her when you on the team, and you Black, so and the other person wasn't, so I was like, what's the deal, But at the end of the day, I'm a ride for us. I can separate riding for a person and whether I like you. Like, I could ride for you and then go back to not liking you. And I realized that about myself. So it was just like a funny, I can. Like, I will be out there. If we got to do whatever we got to do, I'm going to be out there. And then the next day, I'm probably going to, I can't stand that bitch. But at the time where it happens, I'm going to be with you. And so that was just a realization that I had of myself. And it was just a funny thing that happened at work. So other than that, my week was regular. I didn't really do much. I hung out a little bit this weekend. Every weekend when I say I'm a chill, I ain't doing nothing, I'm always doing something. Coming in late night, out drinking, living life.
Guess what?
What?
Me too.
Oh, what you was doing?
I went out last night.
You did?
I did. Me, Kimmy, Eva, and Lex. Yeah, me, Kimmy, Eva, and Lex. I was tore down too. Work. Either.
Oh, oh, y'all had fun?
Yeah. We went to because Kimmy texted me talk about I'll be at the 6th Street Lounge at 5:30.
6th Street Lounge.
Yeah, she was like, I'll be there at 5:30. Come on. And I was like, oh, all right, and I come home because I was leaving work on time because Deja was home, and I didn't want to, I didn't stay late any day because I wanted to spend all the time with her that I could. And but she was going out with her friend, and I was like, all right, I'll see what I can do. She gonna talk about make it happen.
Y'all went to 6th Street?
Yeah, but they have food there by these the food is good. A guy reviewed it. This guy who does restaurants or whatever, he reviewed it on YouTube or whatever, and stuff was looking delicious. And I had the crab balls and they were good.
Yeah, it's Bree's mom's first cousin that does the cooking down there.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm saying I know. Yeah,
the short guy.
So I know.
I seen and everything. I saw a 50-pound bag of panko. I was like, oh, this is what's up. Right.
Yeah, like he knows
okay.
What he's
doing. Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So we cooled out. I'm not going to tell you how many Grand Marniers I had, but I'll tell you one thing. I sure did. And you know what? I keep saying it all the time. Like, I don't judge anybody because, first of all, a toxic work environment will make you drink. And I'm telling you, you be feeling better. You just be like, fuck it.
It's the quickest way to turn into a damn alcoholic before you know it. You come home, you like, you know what? I just need a glass of wine to soothe me, or I just need a little Grand Marnier to, just calm me down. And the next thing you know, you sipping and sipping and sipping right into alcoholism.
Because like last Friday was the first Friday that I didn't stop by Wegmans and get me the 6-pack of my wine. Because I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm looking at my recycle bin and it's full of these wine bottles. And I was like, wait a minute now. Like, hold up. This is ridiculous. But yeah, I went out and had a nice time. And I've been up since 4:00 because I had to take Deja to the shuttle. She went back home this morning. Oh,
y'all had a nice visit though.
We did. We had her, and I'm really, really proud of her. I am very proud of her. She didn't do hardly anything while she was home, which was her norm. But she was trying to get adjusted to the time difference. But we had some good conversations, and when she's not up under me, she flourishes.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked her, I said, well, Deja, when do you want me to come visit? She was like, come in the summertime, Mom, because all the beaches and this and that and whatever. And I was like, okay. She's like, you want me to buy your ticket?
What?
Exactly. I was like, yep.
Yes.
And then I was like, well, hold up. No, because she'll be having me with 8 layovers and catching shuttle buses to the train. And I was like, all right. And she was like, no, because it's probably going to be less expensive if I buy it.
If she buys it.
There. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, yeah, but fly me from Philadelphia. I'm not coming all the way to New York. It's not that big of a difference.
Full circle. That's when life comes full circle.
Full circle. Isn't it? I was so proud of her. When
your kids start taking care of you.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I was very happy.
Well, that's good. I'm glad she got home safe and she had a good visit. So who did some shit this week? Well,
let me start with the recaps.
Okay.
So the most recent recap was, remember we said, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, when it was lawyering while black.
Yes.
The Hartford County Sheriff in Maryland, Hartford County, Maryland, when the sheriff officer, after the case was adjudicated and the attorney won what he was asking for his client, he was leaving the courtroom and a sheriff officer came up to him and, insinuated that he was in fact not an attorney, but he was the plaintiff in the case, saying that he was impersonating a lawyer and would not let him leave until he proved that he was actually an attorney. And they had to literally call his job, and his job said, yes, he is the representation. Mm-hmm. So there was a full investigation. The attorney did secure a lawyer himself for the case. But after the investigation, the Harford County Sheriff's Office says that the result of the investigation was that it was in fact, the attorney's fault that this happened. And if anyone deserves an apology, it's the sheriff's officer. Said that if he would have had his bar card on him, this would have never happened. But he shouldn't have never even been asked to show his bar card. Nobody asked him. And the case was over. The judge had already ruled he was leaving.
And the man, I was about to say, wasn't the man just walking out?
Leaving
and the sheriff's officer approached him?
Right, being smart. Right. Mm-hmm. And they're saying that the investigation, the allegation, was unfounded. And if anybody deserves an apology, it's the sheriff's officer. If he would have had his bar card on him and proper identification, this would have never happened. Well, how would it never happen if you're asking to see his bar card and his identification for no reason? Right. And then to add insult to injury, whoever it is that is a chairperson of the NAACP in that county says, we're pleased with the investigation. What?
How are you pleased with the investigation when the man was wrongly accused of being something that he wasn't, and the only thing that he was really being, right, and the only thing that he was really being was being Black? And so you, as an organization who is for the advancement of Black people, you're okay with that?
Well. National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. So I'm just saying,
we really truly do need, you know what, I don't mean to cut you off, but we really truly need leadership in the Black community. And that's not just one specific person. It's not like, oh, we need a Martin Luther King, we need a Malcolm X to be able to flourish. We don't. You know, all of those organizations started at grassroots with people just coming together and doing something. But we need leadership, and whether that be leadership from the top down or from the bottom up, I don't know, but we need leadership. More people to really kind of see what's going on, you know, acknowledge what's going on, and then do something about it as far as their actions are concerned with what is going on. You can't be that blinded that you are talking about, oh, you're okay. You can't be a part of just wanting to get by. You can't be a part of wanting to be in the status quo. You can't do any of that. Clearly, the man was harassed and arrested.
And he was not arrested, but he was detained. Yeah. Like, you stopped him from going about his business to make him prove who he was. After the case, you are not the judge. The case was already heard and already ruled on. But he was leaving.
Right. And that's the type of stuff that we have to go through. We have to prove who we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't walking down the street proving who you are. And who the hell is walking down the street with their bar card on their forehead? Like, hey, don't detain me. I'm a lawyer. It's ridiculous. I wouldn't apologize to that damn man. Who do they think that they are? And then when you put them in a position of power, like a police officer, it's really like, who do you think that you are? This is ridiculous. This kind of stuff just makes me so angry.
Clearly.
It just does.
Clearly.
It really does.
So the other case that there's an update in is the AKA prostitution ring. Remember, from Fort Valley State University in Georgia? So one woman and 6 men were arrested. And a lot of people were posting on social media like this was big news, like they hadn't heard it before. But this case broke a while back.
Well, we're in a microwave society, so it's like here today and going tomorrow. I don't remember what case was, you know, in the news it was 6 months ago.
It was a pretty big thing. But anyway, so now the woman has officially been arrested and charged. They're all the leader. Yes. Okay. And so on our YouTube video of this week's podcast, I'm going to put the pictures in because they have some mugshots up of the woman and the 6 men who were arrested in the case. And some of the men were, they were educators, they were attorneys, they were engineers, and none of them could pay me enough to have sex with them. I was like, man, that's probably why they had to pay.
No,
Yeah.
money talks. You mean you could look like
Listen.
mm-mm,
First
a
of all,
dog face?
yes, money talks, but that's why you had to pay. That's my point.
Yeah.
That's why you had to pay.
Mm.
Because when you always talk about Flavor Flav. Flavor Flav may not be handsome to some, but Flavor Flav is like charismatic and funny and chill. And you could be like, Flav, and you can get chill. You know what I mean? Somebody can.
Yeah, I guess. I was about to
But
say.
these dudes have looks, and it looks like their personality like they have to pay. Like they don't have any other options.
Wait, so were these the men that got arrested, were they the Johns? Or were they a part of the ring too?
Some were arrested for soliciting sex, and I think 3 of them they say that they were a part of the ring because they were hiring them for parties and all kinds of stuff like that. So they supported the whole prostitution type thing. They weren't just the tricks.
No, I'm gonna catch 22 with this whole story because I feel like prostitution, it should be legal. I think it's like marijuana, make it legal. And there, people are doing it. And for real, as soon as white people know how to tax it and make some money off of it, it's going to become legal because look at marijuana. People are sitting in jail and in prisons for all of their lives for weed. And now you have white people coming along and it's $1 billion industry when in reality it's been $1 billion industry. People been doing it. And so I just feel like prostitution is truly like one of what they say, the oldest profession in the world,
right?
And so it's like people are going to do it. And here's the thing, there are cases of prostitution like human trafficking, that not saying that part of it should be legal at all, people being kidnapped and forced into something, that's totally different. But for people who choose, like I wake up one day and I say, you know what, today I'm gonna make me some money, and this is what I choose to do in that, find a way to regulate it in some kind of way and let people make the decisions that they want to make. That catch 22 for me, because that other piece plays in it, like because that people are being forced into it, But I'm talking about for the people like a stripper. You want to be a stripper.
But here's the thing of why I don't see prostitution ever becoming legal, and I think that it should not be legal. Because even while it's illegal, even if you're not a commercial sex worker or you don't work in the sex industry, we victimize victims.
Right.
We criminalize and we victimize the victims. So it's already difficult for a woman to prove a rape case.
Right.
To do anything like that. So if I am a prostitute and it's illegal, and then I have a transaction and I don't want to do that, will my no ever mean anything? Never. Because it doesn't mean anything now. First of all,
that's what I was going to say, and that's the bad part about it, because
you're not going to be able to draw the line, and that's why it should remain illegal. Not that there's any shame, because my thing is, if that's what you want to do, get yours. You know what I mean? And no judgment to anyone, but our no means nothing now. And can you imagine if you made it legal and they say, oh, well, she a prostitute anyway. Like, she can't say no. That's just like telling me I can't call out of work. I ain't coming.
Well, that's probably the reason why I feel like in a way it should be regulated some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? But then it would be like, how? Exactly. And that's probably why it's not legal yet, because folks haven't found a way to be able to regulate it in a certain kind of way. Because I feel like if they had, it would be.
Right. I'm saying, no, and it is legal some places. It's legal some places. It's the cat house. What is it called? The cat house in Nevada. It's not a lot of people think prostitution is legal in Las Vegas, but it is not.
Right.
But there is, what is it called? Isn't it called the Cat House?
The Bunny Ranch.
The Bunny Ranch, whatever. In Nevada, it's legal there. Like Amsterdam, they have the red light district and things like that. So it is legal some places. However, I just think that it would be something that's almost impossible to regulate, especially in, proving assault cases and rape cases and things like that, because they already do that to women now.
Mm-hmm.
And even men get sexually assaulted, and then who are they going to tell? They don't tell. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why sex for hire won't be legal. But I read the article about the arrest, and I'm just looking out, and my first thing was, yeah, I don't think I could ever do it, because you still got to look like something, even if you're paying me. You know what I mean? Got to have some kind of personality, some kind of vibe.
Well, when you in that kind of, when you're doing that, like, you ain't thinking about nobody having no personality or no looks. Or
first of all, maybe if you are addicted to substances, maybe not. But like, if you got,
I don't think like a prostitute I don't even think that a person that chooses to do that, because we don't know yet, but the people that were alleged in this prostitution ring that the AKA girl was running, they weren't forced into it, allegedly, right? We don't know. I mean, hasn't come out yet.
Right.
So you can't, when you choose to do that kind of work, you can't, I mean, what kind of, you can have some kind of stipulations, I guess.
Exactly.
But not like, oh, you know what? I ain't going to get no money because I might not get an attractive guy this week, or I might not get a guy that has charisma this week. Like, if you in it because you're trying to get some money, which is the reason why you should be in it, then you can't be thinking about that. You might never get no guy that's
even if you in it for the money, everybody can't be a yes. I'm sorry.
No, everybody can't.
Everybody can't.
What I'm saying is that, like, if for the month, if you don't get nobody that you are physically attracted to, or that you sit down and you have 5 seconds of a conversation and you like, oh, he got charisma, you just gonna be broke the month? No, them bills they ain't having that.
Let me say something. When I looked at these dudes, I was like, ain't no way in the world. You couldn't take
why your ass ain't out there being in the AKA ring, because you got too many that ain't gonna work for me. You gotta be out there like, all right, come on, John.
Double.
John,
triple.
as in John.
Pun intended. So anyway, I mean, so that's just that. But I'm gonna put them on the YouTube video too of this week's podcast, because they are just.
I gotta look this up.
They are just not lookers, honey. But when I tell you, they are not lookers.
Well, we know what you won't be doing for a living.
Clearly. Now I love London. Love London town.
And I do not like the UK, but go ahead.
But I've been to London like 3 times. Every time I had a great time.
I don't want to say that. Let me take that back. It's not that I don't like the UK, but the people who I've had experience with from the UK at my job, they've just been so damn rude that it just makes me just not like all of their asses. But I like people from the UK.
Well, I love London.
Love it.
Always had a great time in London. So there is a grocery store chain in London called Waitrose. And Waitrose has, for the spring holiday, they have marketed together in a fancy little display box, trio of chocolate ducklings. Mm-hmm. You know how we have like the Peeps? They have this trio of chocolate ducklings. They have a white chocolate duckling, they have a milk chocolate duckling, and they have a dark chocolate duckling in a nice little display box for the spring holiday. Well, they are apologizing because there's outrage because they named the ducklings.
This is the name of the packaging of the ducklings, or they just named the ducklings?
The name of the package is Trio of Chocolate Ducklings. That's the name of the package. Right. But they named each duckling. They named the white chocolate duckling, they named the milk chocolate duckling, and they named the dark chocolate duckling. Now, podcast family, I need you to be sitting down. I need you to remain calm. If you're driving, pause now, pull over, resume, or, get to work, resume when you get there and you're sitting down because you ain't going to believe this. Are you ready for the names?
Mm-hmm.
The white chocolate duckling is named Fluffy. The milk chocolate duckling is named Crispy. And the dark chocolate duckling is named Ugly. I don't know why you're laughing.
What?
They would like to apologize for the trio of chocolate ducklings, white chocolate, milk chocolate, dark chocolate, named Fluffy, Crispy, and Ugly, respectively. I got nothing.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but again, the sheer audacity that you would have. First of all, why did you name the ducklings?
Right.
It was already called a trio of chocolate ducklings. Okay, it's a trio of chocolate ducklings. When I go in the store, I'm going to be like, can I have a trio of chocolate ducklings? Nowhere in there am I going to say, you know what I want today? Fluffy, crispy, and ugly. Or today, I'm only eating fluffy. Tomorrow, I'm eating crispy. And then the next day, I'm eating ugly. Or when somebody comes over your house, you want to taste fluffy or you want crispy? But no, I'm saving the best for last. Ugly. What the hell?
First of all, in my humble opinion, there's absolutely positively no apology acceptable for this. Like absolutely positively none. Because even if you don't have diversity and inclusion on your marketing staff or whatever, even all white people know this is wrong.
What, like, fluffy, crispy, and ugly?
Come on now. Even first of all, to name them period is an F in marketing 101.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's named trio of chocolate ducklings, and that should be fine. So even naming them, period, even if you would have named them Fluffy, Fluffier, Fluffiest, it doesn't matter. Naming it, period, is an F in marketing 101. But to name it Fluffy, Crispy, and Ugly, like, I don't care who you are. There's no apology acceptable for that. Now, I can't boycott Waitrose because I don't live there. I don't shop there, no way.
Right.
But I mean, come on.
Well, it's not about it. At this point, it's what we've said in the past, and I'm sticking with it, and more examples are coming out of it. It's just people are doing this on purpose. It's on purpose. It's to get a rise out of people. You know, it's really one of those things like all press is good press. Mm-hmm. And at this point, they are using the outrage as a marketing tool. You know, it's at this point, it is like the team is going in, sitting at the table and saying, okay, pitch me your best idea. And then they're saying, hey, let's do, the trio chocolate ducklings we put out every year. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Fluffy, crispy, and ugly. And then a person is like, oh my goodness, that'll really get the people going. And then we'll get the outrage, and then we'll get the apology, but it'll turn eyes to us, and then more and more people will buy the trio chocolate. And even if they don't buy that because you pull it off of the shelf, it's just like the Gucci thing. You pull the blackface sweater off of the shelf. Okay, cool. It costs you nothing. It costs you $1 to make. It costs you selling them for $1,200. You pull it off the shelf, but now you got more eyes on Gucci. So now I'm on the website and I'm like, damn, that pocket look cute, and then I'm buying that. You get the outrage for a minute. They know that you live in a microwave society where people are here today and going tomorrow, mad today, on to the next thing, the next hour. And so these are marketing tools. Point blank, period.
I agree.
Fluffy, crispy, and ugly, huh? Mm-hmm. I wonder how you choose which one you want to eat. I'm only taking the head off of ugly because I'm saving the white chocolate is my favorite. Like, what the hell is wrong with people?
Yeah, I got nothing. I just thought that was like absolutely asinine.
Who else did some shit?
Well, the state of Washington, the Department of Corrections in the state of Washington has now banned books for prisoners.
Books of any kind?
So, prisoners lobbied to get libraries in the prisons, and then they were like, well, we're not going to spend money on that. So a lot of the prisoners, what they did was they wrote organizations to try to get books to keep them educated, help the time pass. So now Washington State is saying that they can no longer receive any book donations from these organizations that have supplied them with books for 46 years. Since they've been supplying books since 1973 without one incident. Inmates have been receiving books from these organizations, and now the state of Washington says we can no longer receive books. And here's why: because they don't have enough staff to work the mail rooms to look through the books and make sure that they're appropriate for inmates and check them for contraband. So after 46 years of donating books, and the executive director of the organization Books for Prisoners was saying after 46 years of donating books without incident, now we're all of a sudden going to start transporting contraband.
Right. Can your family still send you books? Because most prisons now, they only allow books. So it used to be where you could send your people books, just like I got a book laying around and I'm going to mail it to the prison and I'm going to give it to my brother. Now you have to have books delivered from a certain place. And most of the times it has to be, these days it has to be Amazon. So the prisoners have contracts with Amazon. They have since cut the little man out, just like Amazon is doing. So the local bookstores and stuff like that, where you used to send books, you can't anymore. It has to be from Amazon. So can they still do that?
If they do, that's considered like regular mail, and there's a delay in getting them to the inmate because, like they said, that there's not enough staff in the mailroom. They're working with a shortage of employees, and they can't check to see if the material is approved for an inmate and does not have contraband.
And this is how you know that the prison system is modern day slavery, because you don't have a shortage of prisoners at all. And you have a shortage of people that you want to pay to oversee the prisoners and or do work that can benefit the prisoners. And then another thing is this: when you take away stuff like that in prisons, you don't do anything but make prisons worse. If you are a person that used a book to get by, pass the time, occupy your mind so that you won't deal with the fact that you are in prison, then what do they have to do? Nothing but get into more trouble or get into trouble, period.
It is their attempt to keep us ignorant. Literacy has been proven to decrease the rate of recidivism. And just like you said, our prisons are full. They're busting at the seams. And we know that people of color are disproportionately sentenced to prison time than our white counterparts. And we know this to be true. And we know that many of the inmates resort to a life of crime because of their inability to read, their lack of education.
Or their lack of programming, their lack of anything.
And their resources. Now, they have said for years on end, those standardized tests, every time a minority student scores a certain level or lower on one of those standardized tests in the third grade, they create more prison cells.
Right. It's prison. It's a plan. It's school to prison pipeline. Right. It's a real thing.
In order to, it's just another ploy to keep people incarcerated, literally, for the rest of their life. It's an excuse, and it's unacceptable. They have started petitions, but this is going to need some policy changing, some marching on the Capitol. Something is really going to have to happen, and unfortunately, it's going to have to be the people who care about the inmates, the families, the friends, the loved ones of the inmates to do that, because they can't protest on their own behalf.
Yeah, and they can't protest behind a wall. And the sad thing about it is, in even thinking about this is going to be passed down. This is going to be adopted by other states.
Exactly.
You know, this is starting out with, oh, the organization can give them books, and it's going to eventually go to them just not being able to receive books, period. You know, and it's going to turn into from Washington State and go across the United States. And then the next thing you know, it's not going to be any states that's going to be allowing books into prisons. You already took away programming, you already took away GED programming or programming that they learn a trade for when they get out. They say that it is a rehabilitation, and it really truly is not. They want to keep you a criminal so that you could keep coming back. And that is just a sad ass thing, like books. But you know what? Before we get out of here, today was the funeral of the late, great Nipsey Hussle. The family allowed for them to broadcast the funeral that was held in the Staples Center. And the last time they had a funeral at the Staples Center was Michael Jackson. And I mean, we all know what Michael Jackson has done for music and entertainment. And so it was a really big deal for their family to even say, you know what, we want the people who are supportive of Nipsey to be able to see the funeral being broadcast. And the funeral, I watched it all day. And it reminded me of when Whitney Houston's funeral was being televised. I cried like a baby the whole funeral, because Whitney Houston, it was like
that was like my aunt.
That's what I was going to say. I really felt like I was
me and Deja was in here crying, right?
And I mean, it was, my eyes were not dry the whole time. And it was the same thing with the Nipsey Hussle's funeral. It was the same thing. All day, I just had a tear in my eye, and more of a tear of positivity, more of a tear of, wow, look how this man really just touched the lives of people. But I brought this up because Nipsey Hussle's mother really spoke to me at this funeral, really before the funeral. So during the weekend, somebody filmed her and she came out with a video, and she was just talking about the peace that she has with losing her son. And she was telling the fans, like, if I could feel the peace that I have right now, and this was my child, then you should be able to feel that peace too. And she was just talking about how death is going to come, and we have to prepare ourselves for death, but we have to really focus on the life that the person lived when they were here. And then today, Lauren London, which was his girlfriend, she said something that really resonated with me too. She talked about, Nipsey told her that you don't possess people, that you experience them, and then you have to let them go, and just the peace that the family had, it really got me to thinking, like, not thinking like, oh, if they can experience that peace, if I lose somebody, then, I can experience that too. I was like, wow, I was really in awe of it, because I know, like, as a person, I don't have that. I never feel settled or okay with one of my loved ones leaving. And so to see that, I just was like, wow, it got me to thinking. It got me to thinking about faith as well. You have to have a strong ass faith to be able to be okay with burying your child. Because as a parent, you don't think that you're going to bury your kid. You think your kid is going to bury you.
Absolutely.
And just to know that, like, I feel faithful enough that my son's work here was done. And that I can let him go and be at peace with it. It was amazing to watch. It really was.
I did. Well, I mean, I was working, so I didn't see any.
I was attending the funeral
of the service, but I did get to hear her remarks that she made over the weekend. And you talked about faith. It really was, what she said was so profound, and she showed great strength. And we do talk about that. Like, I've lost a parent, and it's devastating. It really is devastating. It's difficult. But I think my devastation wasn't just in the fact that I lost my mother. It was because everybody is, just as sure as you were born, you are going to die. You are. And that's just, it's how it is. But in my instance, even though she was my parent and not my child, I just felt like my mom was stronger than that. You know what I mean? And so that kind of made it difficult. And it was all like kind of like a more of a selfish thing. You know what I mean?
I think that's what it is all the time when we lose people. It's
more of a selfish thing. But when you talk about that strength and that faith, I remember when I was in college, my freshman year of college, and one of our assignments in this English class, the teacher asked us, if you had one wish for the world, what would it be and why? And we had to write a paper. And on like towards the end of the class, everybody had to go up and share their one wish in like 5 minutes or less, and the reason why. And one of my classmates, Jasidi, he said, if I had one wish for the world, I would wish that everyone had something or someone to believe in higher than themselves. Because when we talk about faith, because we're Christians, what our faith is, in our belief in the gospel of Jesus Christ, but everybody doesn't have that. But it's whatever you have, it's that faith. And if you're going to have that faith, you have to not just possess it. Like, if you have a Maybach, it's not all right, you have one, but you have to drive it in order to enjoy what comes along with it. And to me, that's the strength that Nipsey Hussle's mother showed, that her faith was in action, and she had peace. And in essence, what she said was true, and what he said was true, that, we don't own people. They're not ours, whether they're our children or our parents. And we have this innate selfishness to say, oh, that's mine, I love them, they were mine. But really, all you can do is experience people. And especially with that parent-child relationship, we really feel possessive on both ends of the spectrum. We feel very possessive about that, but they do not belong to us. And it was a great exercise in her faith to have such peace. Now, does that peace mean that she's not grieving? Absolutely not.
Oh, no. She 100% is.
Because some people don't understand how she could say that. And that it doesn't mean that she's not grieving, but it means that she is exercising her faith in such a way that she can receive, some peace.
Yeah, and I think that she also spoke on this, and this was a way that I felt like it is well, because I know that what he came here to do, he did it. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Tenfold. Absolutely. And so I had tweeted that out today, and I was thinking that as I was watching the service, like, I hope that the passing of Nipsey Hussle really just lit a fire under people. Not just, like you said, to have faith, but to do good works while you're here.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Really do good works while you're here, and live your life in a way that when you aren't here, somebody can say, well, they did good works. You know what I'm saying? And I think that she knew, not that I even think, she did know that her son did what he set out to do. You know what I'm saying? Now, was he finished? No. But as they kept saying, the marathon continues. And so I want that even for us and for our listeners. Like, let it continue. Let this boy's death be a lesson that we got work to do. You know what I'm saying? Because he was so strong. Just looking at the outpouring of it, this society really is like, you could die today and in an hour, people be like, so what you doing tomorrow?
Right.
They don't even care. But the way that he is being received and the way that his message is coming across, like the message of community, we talk about that a lot. Our community, our community, our community. I want us to gain that even in our community, like peace in our community, gain back the excellence in our community, and show the strength, not just in death, but in life, that even that his mother is showing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. This thing really hit me in a way that I wouldn't expect it to hit me. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
thinking. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, finish your thought.
Because that I experience a lot of anxiety and stuff like that when it comes down to my own mom, and what she has going on and her being sick and well, today sick, tomorrow, that whole thing. And so it's crazy that it took the death of a celebrity or the mother of a celebrity to even spark something in me that said, focus on what this person is doing now, focus on this person living now, get some peace, understanding, and faith in your own life of what's going on now, and stop thinking about what could happen or what is going to happen, and start living like for today. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. So 2 things. One, in his works, and his mother was right. He did the work that was assigned to him. It was his assignment, and he fulfilled his assignment. And look at the recognition in the fact that the actual city said, we're going to open up the Staples Center to him, because other famous people have died and they didn't have a service for them in the Staples Center. So that speaks volumes in itself. And the other thing is, and you say this a lot. My mom used to say it all the time. And I tell people all the time, they say, oh, do you ever go? I've never been to a cemetery, because my mom never took us to cemeteries to visit people. Like, after the service was over, that was it. And my mom would always say, and you say it too, give me my flowers now while I live. And I'm just, because I know you. I know you on a personal level and on an intimate level. And I know that you do everything you can for your mom. Eat, everything you possibly can for her, so that even when, and I even experienced with Adasia when she was home, and I was just looking at her like, wow, because in raising whatever relationship you have with someone, when you're giving all that you have, you can be at peace. You can be at peace knowing that I gave both my children every opportunity that I felt they should have. I fought tooth and nail, because my children are going to have this same opportunity. Now, what they do with it is on them.
Right.
But I'm going to make sure that my children have the same opportunities as others. If they have an interest in anything, I'm going to support, and I want to make sure that they have a seat at the table. I'm going to do all I can. So whether she was successful or not, I'm at peace, knowing that I did all I could do. And you should have peace, because you do far way above and beyond, like everything a daughter can possibly do for a mother. And I'm feeling that mother's peace, knowing that she loved her son into who he was. And that is faith in action, whatever her faith was. You know what I mean? That is faith in action. And that is what gives you the peace in a rough situation. I know my faith got me through a lot of shit. And I know I learned a lot in a lot of shit because of faith. You know what I mean? So yeah, that
was good. That was feeling like, get ready to start feeling like a sermon. I was getting ready to say, you want to pass the collection plate or something? But no, it was really a great service, like we said last week, and we'll say it again this week. Rest in peace to him, and we hope that all his fans, and even whatever you're going through, that you gain some peace and lean on your faith to get you through whatever it is that you got going on. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get on out of here for this week. We hope that you enjoyed this week's episode. We surely enjoyed giving it to you. Remember that an all new episode drops each and every Monday, and you can find us anywhere where you can listen to your free podcast. As Bibbi said in the beginning, we are on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, and Google Podcasts. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at We Did That Shit. You can follow me on my personal Twitter. It's MyMy13. That's MYMY13.
And I'm at Bibbi Amina. That's BIBBIAMINA.
Yeah, we'll be here same time next week.
Remember, be great this week. Do that shit. I love you, Maya.
Love you too. So excited.